Welcome back to Beg Boris Steel, where we're gearing up for Season 5, and after avoiding relegation last campaign, this is the point where I tell you I've had a wonderful transfer window and we are pushing on for promotion this season. Not a bit of it. This might well be the worst transfer window I've had on Football Manager in years. So signings have been made, the squad has been re-sculpted, but good players were like sand slipping through my fingers during this transfer window. I fear I may even have made the squad worse than it was last season. Have a look at the pre-season prediction. 500 to 1 shots for the title. Only teams that don't even get given odds are ranked below us. I think the scale of what we're up against was spotted by one of the viewers in our last episode. Mid-table Elche have players in their squad that have been to international tournaments with England, and they've slapped them on the transfer list because they don't even see a future for such players in their squad. We are not attracting anywhere like the caliber of player that opposition clubs are able to do. So now that I've got all of my excuses made, all of my talking done, let's show you the players we've brought in and who we've let go. Okay, let's start this sorry tale with who we have let go. We let our left back Ferroni go. He was on a 1-year deal. I thought he was going to be great when we signed him. He performed pretty poorly last year. So when his contract ended, we released him. We made a big call on the goalkeeping front. Nelson would have been turning 35 years old this season, and he wanted a 2-year deal to stay longer. I thought I could recruit a better goalkeeper than him. In hindsight, I think I was probably wrong. Smitty told us pretty early on last season he was going to be leaving at the end of his contract, and so it proved. This was all saving us money on the wages, by the way. Sergio Carrasco was just a bad signing when I made it 18 months ago. He did nothing but sulk as soon as he came through the door. He was injured most of the time. He was out on loan for much of last season. We let some youth players go as well. We managed to get some other players out of the club, one for money, some others out on loan. We managed to get rid of Hassan for £210,000. I was pretty delighted with that deal. Remarkably, I think he's got a pay rise by leaving the club. He was not going to be involved this season. Good bit of business. Insua's contract was expiring. We managed to get rid of him to an Argentinian club before his contract actually ran out. And then we got a couple out on loan. We managed to get Jordi Cheno out. He was playing with us back in the 4th tier. He's not really cut out for 2nd tier football. Still had a year on his contract, so we've loaned him out for the year. And they are going to pay his full wages as our Real Union for Javi Soler. We're not getting a lot of money for him. It's just a derisory monthly fee. But they're going to be paying his wages, so that's pretty useful for us as well. We've also got Yaya Sanogo out of the door on loan. Maybe we should show you who we've brought in now to replace them. Starting in goal, where I don't think we've upgraded on Nelson. This is a younger model. It's got less miles on the clock. Is it any better? Not sure. Agility's better, and that's an attribute I really do like for goalkeeping. It's not a bad player, but I thought I was going to be able to sign a real great keeper. I was not even in the market for any. I didn't even lose out on any top players. Who else have I brought in? I've brought in a new centre-half. We'd lost players like Smitterella, so we've brought in an Irishman by the name of Corey Undaba. Is he better than what we've already got? Not really. He's quicker than what we've already got. So I'm going to chalk that up as a win. He can play over at left back at a push. And considering that I've only got one left back and he's not very good, he could get asked to do that this season. We've brought in a midfielder in the shape of Javi Alonso, not Xabi Alonso. That would have been far better, I think. Another player who is solid, but I wasn't really looking for solid. I was looking for spectacular. I'm not sure Xavi Alonso is that. That's one player that we brought in I am quite pleased with, and that was a youngster called Paco Gil. He was released by, I think it was Numancia. It was indeed. Now, granted, if we're going to play him as a striker, he can't finish, but otherwise, he looks pretty good. Long term, if we go back to playing with wide men, I think a right winger might be his best position because he's pretty quick, great dribbler, and can cross. The passing is good, although the vision is not great. The flair is there for a wide player. I've got hopes for Paco Gil, maybe. Not the player that's going to drive us on towards the playoffs this season, but compared to some of the other dross I bought in, certainly not the worst. Talking of dross, we lost our left back. We missed out on 3 pretty good ones that I was trying to sign, and then we panicked. And we signed a player on loan from Real Madrid without having fully scouted them. We got our little fingers burnt, I'm afraid. In terms of pace, great. Elsewhere, well, not brilliant. The teamwork and work rate are not fabulous. Going forward, the crossing and the dribbling aren't superb. He's played a few pre-season friendlies. Has not looked that impressive in those. Another player I signed in order to try and bolster the squad when I'd almost scouted them in full, but not quite, was Juan Cruz Zurbriggen. I'd scouted everything apart from the acceleration and the pace, which told me it was somewhere between 10 and 15. If it had been a little bit higher, I think we'd have a player on our hands. It wasn't. I don't think we do. And the other player that we've brought in is another loan signing. Again, a decent player who gives us the option of maybe playing a number 10 later in the season when I tear up our tactic for the 15th time. Another player who's not quite as quick or physically as developed as you'd like, but the dribbling is good, the finishing is good, the determination, the technique, the off the ball are all reasonable. Is it a world beater? No. Was I in the market for some world beaters? A couple. They chose to go elsewhere. So I'm not sure whether our squad is any better than it was last year. I'm fearful it might even be worse. So how are we going to organise this ragtag bunch for an opening game of the season against Barcelona's B team, where we're going to gamble on the system that won 3 out of 4 games when we used it at the end of last campaign? It means we're starting with a front 3. Rossi spearheading the team. 21 league goals for him last season. Hopefully he can be just as prolific this campaign. Hopefully Kevin Carlos will shake off some of the rust that he was experiencing last season, because the season before that, he was our star man. He's still only 24. We're going to need more than 8 goals out of him this season. And then who's going to play in the front 3 alongside them? Well, form in the opening stage of the season might dictate that. We're going to have young Paco Gil that we can play as a striker, but with finishing of 7, he might be down the list a little bit. We've got our new Argentinian by the name of Juan Cruz Zurbriggen, who, if he was a little bit quicker, I think would be starting for us today. Maybe an appearance from the bench might be better. So as a false 9, we're going to be playing Manu Mosquera, one of the players that we've brought in on loan. Hopefully, he can run at the defence a little bit, and if he gets a chance, he can finish it. In midfield, we're not going to play too many of our new players. We're going to go with Mickey and Landa, and just Xavi Alonso is going to come in and play just in front of the back 4 for us. And then we're going to leave out, I think, the signing that we made that might get the most game time for us this season. Corriendaba, I like his pace, but for the opening day of the season, I also like the relationship that Jimenez and O'Brien have got. So we're going to go with their experience. But into the back line, we are going to be playing our Real Madrid loanee, Rafael Obrador. Obrador, life goes on. We signed him. We're going to have to play him. At least he's a loan signing. So if we drop him from the team, Real Madrid will get huffy and recall him. Maybe in January we gamble and see what else we can do. And organising them at the back is going to be the new keeper. This is going to be a tough start. Barcelona B made light work of us last season. Let's see if we can at least snag a draw. Okay, we're going to tell the players to go out there and impress me, but this is a tall order for the boys. They have a bit of a lamb to the slaughter feel about them. Barcelona B would have been promoted last season, but they're not allowed to reach the top level. So they're always going to have a squad that's full of players that are developing and not quite good enough for the Barcelona first team. So this is going to be tough. We've not made a disastrous start to the game, though. The XG's not great. In terms of the shots, well, we've at least had a couple. We're into the first highlight. Oh my goodness, our new goalkeeper just about sees that wide. I thought that was about to trickle into the net. We've had 3 shots, 1 on target. But to be honest, after nearly half an hour, I'm not hugely disappointed with how we've started, and Lander's on a set piece. It's a poor one, and I thought we might be having a highlight. I think I was wrong. Now we're getting counted on unless we can win it back. We don't have the most creative of midfield, but what they are is hard-working. They should be able to get around, harry the opposition, hopefully win the ball back for us. Give it to Lander, see whether he can make something happen. Barcelona have sent a long ball forward. Here is the man that we've got high hopes for. Mosquera, the false nine, dropping deep. We're playing some pretty controlled football. Here's the man we're worried about, Oblada. Oh, we've eventually given the ball away, and it's Lander, and they've got him behind our defence. And they have punished us. We had the ball, I thought. That was going to be our first highlight of the game. I was way off, wasn't I? I think Lander got caught with it in midfield. He's tried to... He's dallied on the ball. They've sent it through. O'Brien's not quick enough. That's where Ndaba might be of use to us. And our new goalkeeper has just stood pedestrian-like as they've tucked it past him. This is not an encouraging start, is it? We've got an XG of 0.18. We're into half-time. We've had some efforts, but they must have been long-range ones because we didn't get to see them, and they've barely registered on the XG. We need a big half-time team talk. Okay, we're underway for the second half. No changes in personnel. A couple of little tactical tweaks. Nothing of significance, really. We're racing our way through this second half. We're not creating a thing, are we? We're going to have to make some changes to the shape, perhaps, or to the tactic. We've got Rossi, our best striker, on a 6.5. We've got some furious defenders. We've got some pretty abject performances in midfield. So let's make some changes. Let's bring Guelfi on for Lander. Guelfi can't really play as a central midfielder, but we're going to ask him to. Let's change the role. Let's go back into it and change the role from a central midfielder onto attack. Let's go for a Mazzala on attack. See if we can get out wide. Mosquera, how are you playing? It's not going great for you, but you're the best performing of our strikers. So let's try another change. Let's go with Zubrigan. What do you like to do? You want to be a poacher, I reckon. We'll make that dream come true for you. You be the poacher. Rossi is going to be the pressing forward. We might even change that to a pressing forward on attack. In a minute, we might even move these fullbacks forward to be wing backs. I'm not sure how they'll cope with that. Let's see whether that can at least force a highlight for us. We're going to throw a shout of demand more, because we've not even had an effort on goal that we've got to see in a highlight so far. We're into them again, but it looks like another Barcelona B highlight. They're digging the ball around in midfield. A ball over the top I'm fearful of as well. I might fast-track our new Irish centre-back into the team, you know. At least he's got that little bit extra pace and acceleration to help us recover. They're all the way back to their goal. If we could win a header here, we could spring something. We can't. Jimenez has jumped underneath the ball, let them through. Unfortunately, they have fired it forward. We're going to up our mentality. We're going to go to attacking. We've still not had a highlight. In fact, things are really not happening for us. So let's push these forward to be wing-backs. We're going to ask them to try and bomb on a little bit more. Who else is playing poorly that we could replace? Well, Guelfi is an experiment gone wrong. Oblada is having a terrible game at left back. Do you know what we might do? We might bring on an academy product as left back. This is the first time that I think you've seen Jordi, not Jordi that we've just let out on loan. This guy came through our youth intake maybe a season or so ago. I reckon long term he's going to be a centre half. He's a bit slow to be playing out there as a fullback. Technically, doesn't have an awful lot to his game, but he's pretty good mentally, developing physically. Maybe as a centre-half, he might be able to do something, and we're going to ask something of him today. Let's try and mix this up. This might look like a more defensive move. Maybe it is. But let's just try and change the shape of the team, see if we can give Barcelona something new to think about. We'll confirm those changes. The shadow striker is in. We're also going to shout encouragement to them. That's helped with the body language, and now we've got a highlight. We're coming forward at least. We should have plenty of players in the box. Here's the youngster. He slung the ball over. Rossi's had a go. He's had 2 goes. Well, the youngster made a bit of an impact. Rossi fluffed his lines a little bit, and we're losing, even though neither side have an XG of 1. Maybe we got one last chance. We're going to have to rob the ball and break. We've robbed the ball. We've done the first bit. Guelfi's let it go. Rossi's in. He's not a great finisher. And so he proves when we've had the chances. We've changed the shape. We've gone more attacking. It's not worked so far. We've got one more. Zerbriggen could have been a hero for us. And I think this is probably going to be a full-time highlight there in our box. Need to rob the ball and try and force it upfield quick. Mickey's done his job. Go long, he has. Oh, and if only he could have taken the ball and played Rossi through, we might have had one more chance. As it is, I think that could be the end of the game. Mickey's gone wide. We're looking at the clock. The ref's going to blow any second, I think. He's gone over the allotted time, you know. We've got a corner. Are we going to be allowed to take it? Lander's still... Is Lander still on the pitch? He's not. He's Mickey. Go short. Go short. He's not. He's gone in. Oh, and we did have one last chance. And Mascara's a good finisher. He's fired it over the bar. And on the balance of those final, 10 minutes or so, I reckon we were good for a point in that game. Given the standard of opposition that we were playing, maybe that's not a disastrous result. Rosanas has played badly. Elsewhere, we've taken off some bad performances as well. There's a lot to think about at the end of that game. Let us know down in the comments what you think about the recruitment we've done. Is it as bad as I fear? Or am I being a little bit harsh on some of our recruits? Is there a rough diamond in there that maybe I'm not quite seeing yet? We're now got to go away and play the first quarter of the season. By the time you come back, well, we could be surprising ourselves and chasing down the playoffs. We could be in mid-table safety. I fear we could be coming back to find a team towards the bottom of the table.